Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us for our 6 p.m. news over Camdis Television. We begin straight away with our headlines. Cameroon's Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manawuda Malashi, has taken center stage in Switzerland at the World Health Organization Executive Council, presenting strong proposals on global health issues with a particular focus on Africa. Cameroon's Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, Moumouna Futsu, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting young entrepreneurs, witnessing firsthand their innovative ideas and entrepreneurial spirit at the Youth Village at the Yaoundé National Museum. The Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Professor Narcisse Moelle Kombi, has this Thursday presided over the first preparatory meeting for the 31st Mount Cameroon Race of Hope set for February 21, 2026 in Boya. The session, stakeholders from various sectors presented readiness report for a successful event. These stories and more will be yours in a bit. Thanks once more for joining us. As you heard in one of our lead stories, Cameroon's Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, Moumouna Futsu, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting young entrepreneurs, witnessing firsthand their innovative ideas and entrepreneurial spirit at the Youth Village, which is currently taking place at the Yaoundé National Museum. The minister interacted with young business leaders, encouraging them to pursue their dreams, showcasing the government's efforts to provide access to funding, training, and a mentorship for young entrepreneurs. Melanimbo with the details.
Youth empowerment is the way forward for our nation's progress. And events like the Youth Exchange are a proof to the government's commitment to nurturing young talent. The Minister of Youth and Civic Education's presence at the event is a significant boost to the young entrepreneurs. The minister expresses admiration for the creativity and determination of the young people and emphasized the importance of entrepreneurship in driving economic growth and development.
What we do is that we train kids from the age of 6 years up to 18 years in the technology of coding and of robotics. So here with us, we have different schools which have installed laboratories, what we call maker spaces, where we train them from the foundations on the fundamentals of coding, of robotics, of electronics, of electricity. And the students are able to build creativity, problem-solving skills, have the ability to apply mathematics practically, and of course, give them the ability to communicate with the recent technologies.
The Youth Exchange provided a platform for young people to showcase their talent, learn from each other, and network with potential investors and partners. The young entrepreneurs were thrilled to have the minister's attention and showcase their products and services, ranging from innovative agricultural solutions to stylish fashion designs.
These kids that we nurture and we give them exposure. So we have trips abroad out of the country, like in November 2024, we're in Kigali, Rwanda. In November 2025, we're in Singapore for the World Robot Olympiad. And the year 2026 is so pregnant with so many journeys. It is an exciting journey we have had so far for the past 2 years with partnerships with MINJEG, with the United Nations Development Program. It has been an awesome time transmitting, skills of robotics to the 21st century kid of Africa.
In addition to the minister's support, the event also received moral support from various police units who encourage and motivate the young entrepreneurs. The presence of the police unit serves as a reminder that the government is committed to supporting and protecting young people as they pursue their dreams.
The National Delegation for Security is here today to sensitize the youth, to educate them. According to the context of delinquency in school milieu, we are here to brief them on the bad effect of drugs and brief them on the bad effect of violence among them.
It is clear that the future of entrepreneurship in Cameroon is bright, with young people leading the way.
We now take you over to the southwest region of the country, where mayors, municipal treasurers, regional assembly presidents and other stakeholders have gathered in Boya this week to discuss the execution, monitoring and control of the 2026 finance budget for the regional and local assemblies. The national workshop aimed to address pressing issues, including the maturation of public investment project, inadequate finance allocation, taxation, and budgetary programs. Let's get details of this story from Bertrand Tita.
Speaking at the event, Mbua Isaac Mbola, Director and Head of the Monitoring and Management Control Division at the Ministry of Finance, lamented the tendency of citizens to disengage themselves from municipal affairs, leaving officials to manage as they see fit.
You know, at first, the citizens whom we had the attitude that after elections, we let our officials manage the city the way they want. And we only come back to them, or they only come back to us 5 years after. That's at the end of their mandate, when they come again soliciting for our votes. So this time around, we want to change the dynamics. It has to be a day-to-day involvement in the management of the municipality, especially, and to a lesser extent, the region.
Mbola emphasized the need for local authorities to prioritize the need of the population in budgeting, programming, and planning.
In drafting their budgeting, in programming, and in planification, the local authorities should take into consideration the needs of the population. And you can only take that into consideration if you involve them in your planning. You shouldn't choose for them. They should be the ones to tell you that this is what we want, this is what we feel the pinch, and this is what we think you should do to lessen our burden.
However, not all stakeholders are optimistic about the reforms. Robertson Tabe, Ching of Mamfe, expressed concerns over the collection of local taxes, which are now handled by local taxation and sent through Compost.
Taxes is now collected by the local taxation and sent through Compost. It's very difficult to understand it. We see the figures in the papers, very good, but in our account at Compost to date, we have not received a franc.
Tabeching also criticized the CAC campaign, describing it as a nightmare. Despite these challenges, he remains hopeful that the situation will improve, noting that the Mamfe Council has decided to take its development into its own hands to foster progress.
Talking about the CAC, this one is a nightmare, but the people that came from Yaoundé, they are struggling to explain that there are new reforms put in place. The Mamfe Council is doing quite good. We have decided to develop our municipality by ourselves, and many measures have been put in place, like the neighborhood and village committee that was authorized by the Prime Minister.
The workshop aims to promote transparency and accountability in local governance, with stakeholders urging elected officials to prioritize the needs of their constituents. As the region moves forward, the success of these reforms will depend on the ability of local authorities to work collaboratively with citizens and address pressing issues affecting their communities.
As part of her New Year wishes, Minister Celestine Kecha-Coutez of Housing and Urban Development has unveiled a bold roadmap for 2026, outlining a massive investment of nearly 50 billion francs CFA in urban development projects aimed at transforming the country's major city and improving the lives of its citizens. This was during New Year wishes celebrations with her collaborators, Madoshe Kwati and Melanie Bo.
The Minister of Housing and Urban Development has presented a comprehensive review of the 2025 achievements and a bold roadmap for 2026. The Minister's visions for urban development in Cameroon is centered on transforming major cities, promoting sustainable and inclusive development, and enhancing access to basic services. The minister provided specific targets including a 23 emergency road rehabilitation plan for Douala, the construction of 20 kilometers of new roads, and the rehabilitation of over 100 kilometers of road in Yaoundé, Douala, and Bafoussam.
Is to create more pleasant, sustainable, resilient, inclusive, leaving no one behind, in accordance with the high directive of the head of state. It is only through concerted action that we will succeed in turning the exponential and irreversible urbanization of our country, in making this action occasion to create jobs, especially for young and women.
Beyond mobility, the plan addresses core urban challenges, including launching a project to reconstruct precarious neighborhoods and implementing sweeping sanitation reforms for new waste management infrastructure. A key theme of the minister's address was ensuring that the urban revolution benefits all citizens. She emphasized that the integration of women and youth into development programs, promoting labor-intensive projects to create jobs. The strategy includes creating and equipping local production units, building youth integration centers, and strengthening neighborhood communities.
This will start today, not tomorrow.
Dr. Manawuda Malashi has taken center stage in Geneva, Switzerland, presenting at the World Health Organization Executive Council, presenting a strong proposal on global health issues with a particular focus on Africa. In his intervention during discussions, the minister clearly distinguished himself, advocating alongside leading nations for the improvement of health systems worldwide and emphasizing Africa's priorities in shaping global health policies. Let's get details in the following report. As global health faces one of its most defining moments, attention is turning to Geneva, Switzerland, where the World Health Organization Executive Council is in session and critical decisions are being shaped. At this strategic forum of the World Health Organization, Cameroon is assuming a prominent role, carrying the collective voice of Africa at a time when the world is seeking stronger, fairer, and more resilient health systems. The objective of the meeting is clear: to review and guide World Health Organization policies, address priority health issues, and lay the groundwork for decisions to be adopted by the upcoming World Health Assembly alongside countries such as France, China, Brazil, the United States, India, South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, and Rwanda. The challenges under discussion are both urgent and far-reaching. Member states are confronting persistent weaknesses in health systems, funding constraints, recurring disease outbreaks, and deep inequalities in access to medicines and vaccines. For African countries, these difficulties are compounded by limited infrastructure, shortages of skilled health personnel, and heightened vulnerability to health emergencies. Within this context, Cameroon is expected to ensure that Africa's realities are fully reflected in the Council's deliberations while contributing to solutions centered on sustainable financing, stronger surveillance mechanisms, and reinforced international solidarity. Expectations are particularly high as Cameroon is represented by its Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manawuda Malashi, who also holds the position of Vice President of the World Health Organization Executive Council. This responsibility places the country at the heart of negotiations and consensus-building efforts. Africa looks to Cameroon not only to defend shared positions, but also to help stir discussions towards concrete outcomes that will strengthen health systems, improve preparedness, and deliver lasting benefits to populations across the continent. If you are just joining us, it is the 6 p.m. news over Camdis television. Let's now take a tour out of the country. First stop will be in Nigeria. Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has deployed troops in Kwara State following a deadly attack that left at least 162 people dead as the country faces a rising violence from insurgencies. The military has launched operations against armed gangs, while the United States has provided support through personnel and airstrikes. Second stop will be in Iran and then Morocco. These stories are compiled in the following report. In one of the deadliest attacks in recent months, at least 162 people were killed by gunmen in Kwara State, prompting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to deploy an army battalion amid Nigeria's deepening security crisis. The country continues to grapple with insurgencies in the northeast, widespread kidnappings in the northwest and north-central regions, and increasingly bold jihadist raids, including claims by the Al-Qaeda affiliate JNIM. The military has launched coordinated offensives, reportedly neutralizing hundreds of bandits, while the United States has also dispatched personnel and carried out airstrikes. Authorities stress cooperation with Washington and insist there is no targeted religious persecution, even as both Muslims and Christians continue to fall victim to escalating violence. After weeks of uncertainty, Iran and the United States are preparing to resume nuclear negotiations on Friday, a move confirmed by the White House and welcomed by regional powers eager to avert another Middle East conflict, including Egypt, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Oman, which have urged Washington to keep diplomacy alive. Led by Abbas Araghchi for Tehran and Steve Witkoff for Washington, the talks face major hurdles over missiles and uranium enrichment after failed 2025 rounds and a brief war triggered by Israeli strikes, with President Donald Trump warning that military options remain on the table if diplomacy fails. Torrential rains have forced more than 50,000 residents in northern Morocco to flee their homes as severe weather battered several provinces, triggering widespread flooding and disruption. The evacuations, which began on Friday and were most intense in Larache province, particularly around Kessa El Kebi south of Tangier, saw families sheltered by relatives or moved to temporary centers set up by authorities, while the army was deployed on the orders of King Mohammed VI to support relief efforts. The unfolding crisis comes as the country braces for more heavy rain, strong winds and snowfall at higher altitude, recalling last year's deadly floods in Safi and echoing similar weather-related tragedies recently reported in Algeria and Tunisia. Let's now bring you back to talk sports. As you heard in one of our lead stories, the Ministry of Sport and Physical Education has given green light for the 31st Mount Cameroon Race of Hope scheduled for February 21st, 2026 in Boya. At a preparatory meeting held this Thursday in Yaoundé, presided over by Minister Narcisse Moïse.
From 12 foreign countries will participate in the 31st edition of the Race of Hope, with test races having taken place in several regions of the country.
The 31st edition of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope has as theme, let's give peace a chance. We already have 12 foreign countries that have shown interest to be part of the race, and we had done test races in all the regions except those which could not have access to a test race, and the number of athletes required is 600, 550 for locals and 50 for foreign athletes.
The athletes are gearing up for the event, with registration windows closing on February 14th for foreign athletes and February 19th for local athletes. A trade fair kicking off on February 10th is expected to add impetus to the event, while medical exams will be conducted from February 18th to 20th to ensure all athletes are health-wise competent for the race.
Equally want to say that this year, Buea is going to boom because there are other activities that are going to let people know that the town of Buea, in Fako division, in the southwest region, and in Cameroon, has an event which is being patronized by the head of state, His Excellency President Paul.
The youths have decided to come up with a trade fair. You know, the trade fair in those days gives the race an impetus. The environs of the Moliko Stadium are very, very busy a month before the event. So this trade fair is going to start on the 10th of February, and it will take till the 8th of March, where the women will celebrate their own day, and that will be the end of that trade fair.
Minister Narcisse Moelle-Lekombi instructed all partners and sectors to ensure everything is put in place for a successful event, which will begin with an opening ceremony at the Moliko Stadium on February 20th. With technical and security measures already in place, all eyes are on Buea for what promises to be an unforgettable 31st edition of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope.
And that updates in sports, ladies and gentlemen, takes us to the end of our 6 p.m. news over Camlist Television. It was a pleasure staying with you. Do enjoy the rest of the evening in the company of interesting programs over the Republican channel. Meanwhile, we'll meet again tomorrow when it's exactly